It was only for the carrots that they put up with his abominable parties, at which they were always first humiliated. "Have you no sense of humour?" I can imagine him demanding at the early dinners, and then rewarded. In the end, they learnt to laugh even before the joke was sprung. They felt themselves to be a select group. There were plenty of people around Geneva who envied their friendship with the great Dr. Fischer. Of what he was a doctor I don't know to this day. Perhaps they had invented the title to honour him, just as they called the divisionnaire general. How was it that I came to love Fischer's daughter? That needs no explanation. She was young and pretty. She was warm-hearted and intelligent. And I cannot think of her now without tears coming to my eyes. But what a mystery must have lain behind her love for me. She was more than 30 years younger than I when we met, and there was certainly nothing about me to attract a girl of her age. As a young man, I had lost my left hand when I was a fireman in the Blitz, that night in December 1940 when the city of London was set ablaze, and the small pension which I received when the war was over just enabled me to settle in Switzerland, where the languages that I knew, thanks to my parents, made it possible for me to make a living. My father had been a minor diplomat, so as a child I had lived in France, Turkey, and Paraguay, and learnt their respective tongues. By a curious coincidence, my father and mother were both killed on the same night that I lost my hand. They were buried under the rubble of a house in West Kensington, while my hand was left behind somewhere in Leadenhall Street, close to the Bank of England. Like all diplomats, my father ended his days as a knight. Sir Frederick Jones, a name which, with its dignified prefix, no one found comic or unusual in England, though I was to find that a plain Mr. A. Jones was ridiculous in the eyes of Dr. Fischer. Unfortunately for me, my father had combined diplomacy with the study of Anglo-Saxon history, and of course, with my mother's consent, he gave me the name of Alfred, one of his heroes. I believe she had boggled at Aelfred. This Christian name, for some inexplicable reason, had become corrupted in the eyes of our middle-class world. It belonged exclusively now to the working class, and was usually abbreviated to Alf. Perhaps that was why Dr. Fischer, the inventor of Dentophil Bouquet, never called me anything but Jones, even after I married his daughter. But Anna Louisa, what could have attracted her to a man in his 50s? Perhaps she was seeking a father more sympathetic than Dr. Fischer, just as I may have been unconsciously engaged on a parallel pursuit of a daughter rather than a wife. My wife had died in childbirth 20 years before, taking with her the child who doctors told me would have been a girl. I was in love with my wife, but I had not reached the age when a man really loves, and perhaps there had not been the time. I doubt if one ever ceases to love, but one can cease to be in love as easily as one can outgrow an author one admired as a boy. The memory of my wife faded quickly enough, and it was not constancy which stopped me looking for another wife. To have found one woman who accepted me as a lover in spite of my plastic imitation of a hand and my unattractive income had been a near miracle, and I couldn't expect a miracle like that to be repeated. When the necessity to have a woman became imperative, I could always buy a copulation, even in Switzerland, after I had found my employment in the chocolate factory to augment my pension and the little which I had inherited from my parents. Very little it was, but as their capital had been invested in war loan, at least it paid no English tax. Anna Louisa and I met first over a couple of sandwiches. I had ordered my usual midday meal, and she was taking